What is up, YouTube? D-Rec here with Alliance Rift, and I will be your commentator for this Cardfight Vanguard feature fight, featuring Raging Form versus Blue Waves. Two very, very aggro decks, not quite tier 1, but still very, very, very powerful decks in the meta currently. Now, we're going to see which deck can out-aggro the other, whether it's Raging Form's pseudo-restand play before the opponent reaches grade 3, or if it's Blue Waves and the multiple attacks for low damage, for low power to make the higher battle for maximum skill effects. So the Blue Wave player is going to attack and get no offensive trigger, which is going to be hurtful with the Raging player's defensive trigger, but he's going to take the second attack anyway, putting him to 2 damage to the Blue Wave player's 1. The Raging player is going to ride into Dark Bless Angel, use the starter skill to discard, scry, and draw a card. And this can be very essential if he doesn't have the play cards that he needs currently, especially since he really needs to get the Raging play off early game to really apply the pressure the deck needs to do in order to make the mid and later game a much simpler game for the Raging player. But it looks like he's gonna set up a little bit. He's gonna really push to get the copies of Raging Form he needs to put the pseudo restand pressure on. He's not going to get the top 5 check this time around, but Mana's going to get the +2, and he's going to be able to attack Vanguard this time around. And it looks like he's not going to call any additional rear guards after that. Really thinking about his play, but he's just going to attack for 9 at the opponent's 9k Vanguard and get no past there. And then he's going to attack with Mana as well, and he's going to tie the game up 2-2. Blue Wave player is going to ride grade 3 first, and this would be a really good opportunity for him to start applying high number pressure. But it looks like he's just going to leave it at that and swing 11k at the Vanguard. The Raging player is going to respond with the 2 to pass, and the Blue Wave player is going to get no offensive triggers. He has the 1 rear guard attack left, and Mana is going to intercept for 12k for 14k to the 12k attack. And it looks like the Raging player was not able to get Raging Form in hand, so he's going to use Slayhex's skill to get Raging Form on the Vanguard circle. Counterboss 1, discard a card from hand to search, and then he'll add the copy of Slayhex's from the soul back to the hand. It's a very, very good setup card, especially if he doesn't have the Stride Fodder in hand or the capability of striding in hand currently, so you can make the first turn stride. Or if he had the grade 3 in hand, it would just allow him to kind of fetch and then have the grade 3 for the wrap play, which you would need for the mid game to apply more pressure. But it looks like he's going to stride and go into Geyser Dragon and use the grade 1 skill to check top 5 for another copy of Raging Form. He's not going to get it this time around either. He's going to call another copy of Mana and use Mana skill to fetch another grade 1. It looks like he's going to go for another copy of the Raging Searcher. He really is trying to push to get another copy of Raging Form in hand to either just stride or to just do wrap skill. And he's not going to get another copy of Raging Form. The chances of him getting one at this point are very low, with one being on his Vanguard circle currently and then the other one face down in the damage zone. Mana's going to swing rear for 10, and then he's going to swing with Geyser for 28 currently, and use Geyser's skill to +2, and retire the 2 units he just called out. His first check's going to reveal PG, which will give him +5, and then a grade 2. So it'll be at 33k attacking the Vanguard. He'll get the offensive heal, and put him back to 1, and no additional triggers after that. So now the damage is 3-1 with the Raging player currently in the lead. The Blue Wave player is in a stride for his first stride. He has the new Blue Wave support stride as an out, but it looks like he's just going to go into Tetra Boil as his first stride and use Anger Boil's stride break to get another column restood and attack again for a much higher power. The no defensive trigger from the Raging player there. He's going to stand up Foivos and Daggermaster with +3 each, and the Vanguard attack is going to get PG'd by the Raging player, and he's going to unflip. And then no offensive drive checks from the Blue Wave player. So Foivo is going to attack for 14 with the restand at the third battle. And he'll stand back up and attack for, I believe, 22,000 if he attacks again. And the Raging player is going to G-Guard. It looks like he has the amount of grade 1s that he needs for Ritual, so he's going to get the plus 10,000 shield, and then the grade 2 AK to swing and miss, so he can get the plus 2 with its skill. And that will be the end of the Blue Wave player's turn. So the Raging player is in a bit of a bind. He does not have the grade 3s that he needs in hand in order to do Raps play. So it looks like he's going to have to go for one of his other kind of like medium strides, like Orgeyser or Phantom Blaster, or even Spectral Blaster if the deck runs it. I don't know if his deck is running Spectral Blaster and it's in the G zone, but he does not have the ability to go for his main push card at this point in time. So it looks like he's going to go into Orgeyser Doomed, and he's going to really try and reduce the opponent's board a little bit and prevent him from using them to gain advantage and make the battles that he needs to in order to get certain skills off. He's going to call Mana out and he's going to call the original grade 3 searcher, grade 1 for Revengers out, and use its skill to add a Raging Form to hand. And then he's going to use the other grade 1 skill to check top 5 and whiff, and he's going to give Damned the plus 2. And then use Damned skill to add 2 cards to hand. He's going to get the first, retire 1, he's going to get another one, he's going to get 2 heal triggers. Definitely not a good time for his drive checks, but it's not going to matter too much. The Blue Wave player is going to PG in response. The Orgeyser player is going to get a heal and it's not going to go off, and then an additional critical. Again, not applying any damage due to the PG of the Blue Wave player. And then the Blue Wave player is going to take his turn in stride. And he's going to go into Tetraboil once more. This time he will be able to get Tetraboil's G-Break 3 skill off when it attacks at the second battle. He will have G-Break 3 once he flips up with the cost of the skill. He had the additional copy of Foivos in hand, so it looks like he's going to be able to make the 4th battle with the rear guard and stand for the 5th battle with Tetraboil. So Foivos is going to attack currently for the first battle at 15k, and he's going to get the defensive draw and plus 1 off of that. The Blue Wave player is going to attack with the Vanguard, and he's going to activate the skill for this restand at drive -1. And the Raging player is going to respond with the G-Guard, and it's going to be no pass there. 41k to the opponent. The Blue Wave player is attacking 26k. But he will get the heal trigger off, and that'll put him back to 2 damage for this turn. The power is going to go to Foivos for this turn. So he's going to attack with Foivos, and he's going to use Foivos' skill to gain plus 2, so he's now attacking for 16 at Raging's current base 16, and then restand. He's going to attack with Anger Boil and miss, and stand back up with Tetraboil, and get PG'd by the Raging player. And the Raging player is going to unflip a damage for the skill of Karma Collector. And no additional offensive checks for the Blue Wave player. But Foivos is going to be swinging in for some very, very substantially high numbers. And that will be the end of that turn. So the turn currently is Raging at 4 damage to the Blue Wave player at 2 damage. The Blue Wave player definitely took a substantial lead during that turn by healing 1 point of damage while increasing the gap to 2 from being 3 to 2 to now 4 to 2. And it looks like the Raging player still was not able to get the key cards he needs to go into Wrapped. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to use Wrapped skill to push for more attacks and get additional drive checks off. So it looks like he's going to go into Phantom Blaster Diablo. Like I said, he really does not have many options available to really apply pressure, so he's trying to make do with what he can. He calls a Blaster Dark Revenger Abyss to kill one of the rear guards. and make it harder for the Blue Wave player to attempt to prevent guard restrict. The Raging player is going to attack rear and attempt to prevent it from paying the cost for Phantom Blast or Diablo's skill. And the Blue Wave player is going to allow that rear guard to be retired. He does know that he won't be able to guard. He won't be able to guard the Raging, not the Raging, but the Phantom Blast Diablo attack without G guards. And the Raging player is going to get the single crit and apply 3 damage for that attack, and put the Blue Wave player to 5 damage. It was the best he could do with that play there. He just didn't have the grade 3s to apply more pressure and be able to push for reducing the Blue Wave player's hand advantage currently. It looks like the Blue Wave player has plenty of cards in hand to be able to go into a bunch of different strides here. He's not going to be able to use that 4th copy of Tetra Royal because he can't unflip for the cost. So his only options are currently either the Thava Stride or Lambros. So he's going to go for Lambros this turn. And he had the hand advantage to call out more supporting rear guards in order to make the 4th battle for Lambros' skill. It looks like he's going to attack with the Tidal Assault Column first for 16,000 at Raging form, and the opponent's going to guard for 21,000. And then he's going to stand and swing again with Tidal Assault for the 2nd battle, and then Anger Boil for the 3rd. And the defensive trigger from the Raging player is going to put Raging form to 16k base. And he's going to use Lambros skill to stand the Anger Boil column. It really didn't make sense for him to stand the Tidal Assault. It wouldn't have hit even with the plus 10k. So with this, he'll have a bigger column going on with Anger Boil and the new Blue Wave grade 1, making it currently 28k column. He's going to get the offensive heal off, and since they're both at 5, he's going to heal back down to 4. And that's going to be a 33k column at Vanguard. And looks like he's going to G-Guard with Plotmaker once more for 36, plus the 5 trigger will be 41,000 at the 33k attack. And it's going to put him at just enough. Or is it not? Oh, no, it is not. It's at 18. It would be 28, 38. That'd be 43. He will be short by just 2k. That is my mistake there. He's going to be short 2k. He's going to need to guard with an additional 5k guard. And that will suffice for the guard of that attack. The Raging player is going to take his turn. And it looks like he's not going to stride this turn. It looks like he was going to recycle some of his triggers and hopefully be able to get the play cards that he needs for the next turn. But it looks like he's kind of I think he's kind of pushing for endgame at this point. Not being on Raging form means he's not going to be able to utilize Wrap skill without the Raging Heart, and he really needs that in order to make the push. So his only other out currently is going into the Phantom Blast with Abyss Legion and pushing for the restand play. And he's going to call Mana out and gain another additional rear guard. He's going to call out the Limit Break Enabler for Revengers. So it really looks like he's trying to push all out this turn. He really does not have the outs at his disposal in order to pull off the Raging Wrap Stride, and he doesn't have any other strides in the stride deck that would help him apply any more pressure at this point in time. So he's going to swing with the Raging Form rear guard for 11. He's going to get the defensive critical trigger there, and it's going to make it a little bit harder for him to attack Vanguard. So he's going to be at 22k attacking the 16k Blue Wave Vanguard there, and the Blue Wave player is going to G-Guard for the no pass. But he's going to drop additional guard for an additional no pass. So the Raging player is going to retire all 3 of his rear guards and stand once more for 32k with an additional critical. And going to get PG'd by the Blue Wave player and get the quadruple trigger check for the 2 attacks. And that will conclude his turn. So there are a few options you can go, the blue wave player can go into. He just uses Lambros strides. So the best option at this point in time would be to go into Wailing Savas and get the guard restrict off, because he now knows that his opponent has a lot of cards in hand. So forcing him to discard all those cards would be essential to reducing his ability to guard and make any plays in the next turn. So he's going to guard the Anger Boil attack for 21k, and then the other column for another 21k guard. And then the blue wave is going to attack. He's going to take the Vanguard attack and get critical triggered at the very end, and that will be the 6 damage per game for the Raging player. So the blue wave player definitely had the better advantage this time around, being able to pull off all of his turn wave ability combos. And the Raging player was just not able to get the copies of Raging Form in hand or any other grade 3s to go into Raging Wrapped. So that concludes this fight. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video.